Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Heather K. Margolis with Channel Maven and Spark Your Channel here with another CMC podcast. Today I'm joined by Jill Atcheson, who I've known for maybe a decade. I don't want to date us, but it's been a little while. So Jill and I first met when she was managing marketing for Presidio, and then she has her whole channel story. Jill, I would love for you to share with our audience.
I always get really excited to tell people how I got here. I've always had a love for digital marketing. And when I stepped inside of Presidio, I had an opportunity to bring digital marketing into the partner marketing channel. So that really helped catapult my interest in what the channel could provide to a services organization. And everything sort of set sail from there. And here I am now working for Cisco, doing some of their global partner marketing.
That's awesome. And we love that story, right? When you start at a partner and you learn to advocate for yourself and speak to your vendors, and then you move to the vendor side, you're that much better for it because you're able to say, but when I was a partner, that's not what I wanted.
Absolutely. And that's been the fun part of engaging with the team is just to say, hey, great idea, great opportunity, but let's just really talk about practical application because there is a partner on the other side of that that has to do something with that. So it's helpful extra perspective for sure.
That's great. And you and I reconnected a few months ago, and you have had a life-changing event, which has focused you. You know, Channel Maven's obviously very focused on the channel and communication and digital, and Spark, of course, is focused on digital and video. But in the last 10 months, we've really sort of taken these podcasts, some of them, not all of them, some of them in a different direction. And we're trying to help people be more mindful and think about their wellness. You know, we're sitting here in quarantine and we're not seeing friends, and maybe we're not even standing up. Like I stand up at my stand-up desk, but just we've started pulling in some of these topics that are more about caring for yourself and caring for others. And when you and I reconnected, that was a huge part of why I wanted you to be a guest here, because you've had a life-altering event and it changed the way that you live. And I would just love for you to share that with people.
Yeah, and thank you for touching on how your approach has expanded as well, because I feel like we bring our whole self to work. Right. And as people are juggling all the things right now with changing work environments and having families so close by, you do want to make sure you show up as your whole self. So I'll come back around to that. But I think just it's important to understand what is that life-changing moment for me. And when we have them, all of us have them. For me, it was a health issue and really a show-stopping one. You know, I was at a fast-paced career, accelerating, exploring the world, a young mom, juggling it all. And lots of people can relate to that. But I was always squeezing in time to exercise and take good care of myself. So I thought, and, just being all things to all people, like any 30-something-year-old is these days. And I started developing a small cough. I really brushed it aside like many of us do, right? Like I'll deal with that later, until it got to the point where I landed myself into the hospital with a lung cancer diagnosis. And for someone that's never smoked and has otherwise taken good care of myself, it was shocking. And those moments are so vivid. It's people have these moments in their life they could replay over and over and over again. And for sure, this is mine. And it dawned on me early on, though, just while I was dealing with the reality of it, just how life-changing this could be, and that I was actually more in control than I realized about where to go next.
And that's what I love so much about your story. I know a lot of people, and there is a lot of cancer in my family. And first of all, I'm so sorry that you've been through this. And thank you so much for sharing your story, because I think it really does make a difference. I mean, especially for someone who has that in their family, and some of the people have gone down the road of, well, this is what it is, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going through chemo and I'm going through radiation. You took a really different look at it, and you did take control of it. So tell us you were already healthy, right? You were already exercising and eating well, but you sort of took that to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say too, there's a difference between a cure and healing. Okay. And like there's lots of different cancer gets all lumped together and you see people have a flavor pack of what comes next. But it dawned on me that's a deep statement, right? When you truly heal, it comes from the inside out. And so in those pivotal moments for me, when you feel a bit helpless and desperative and not sure where to turn, it's like, well, hold on a minute. I actually can control more than I realize. Yeah. And so I was joking with my husband the other day. I said, I wish I could, and I might take a picture of my past refrigerator, right? If you were to open it, what's in there, and then what's in there today. Because it's like, I thought I was doing all of the right things, but I have these aha moments now when I realize just how powerful healthy living can be. And really this approach is food as medicine. So anyone that's had any health diagnosis or, and it could be mental health or physical health, there's often a lot of waiting periods that go in when you're the patient, right? Wait for this test, wait for this scan, wait for this. And so what do you do in those waiting moments? It's when the doctors disappear that you're left with yourself. And so one of the first things I did was start diving into this idea of food as medicine. Mm-hmm. I can control that. There's a great quote by the Whole30 founder, and I'm not probably going to say it verbatim, but it's about everything that you put in your body is either promoting your health or taking away from it, right? You're a machine.
That's 100%.
Feed the machine. And so I just started diving into how critical nutrition can be and then having some fun with it along the way and trying new things and sort of branching outside of what I knew. And then of course I got really excited to tell others, but I know we'll get into that too.
Definitely. Well, and as anyone who's ever traveled with me, I'm sure there are people out there going, oh, Heather's so annoying when she travels. We sit down at a restaurant and I'm like, so I can't have gluten and I can't have grain. And if there's alcohol, there just can't be any sugar in and so many different things, because I don't know what I'm in the midst of trying to figure out an autoimmune diagnosis, but I'm a mess when I eat crap. You know, if I eat a pizza, I am foggy and I'm cranky and it's not just right after, and it's not just the day after. It really takes me a while to get to a point where I feel better. So, first of all, I would love for you to touch on Cisco is amazing. And you are working for an amazing organization that is so happy to help support you through this. So how are you doing today? How are you managing work and life and all of those things?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked, because I can't say it enough in words how grateful I am. I have an amazing team, an amazing manager and support group around the whole organization. And they really have just led me by the hand into this understanding that don't worry about this place, you focus on you. And so that has been my path forward, is to say, thank you. I need this critical time to heal and nurture my body so that I can come back and show up and be my best self. And I keep in touch with them. I'm engaged with them. But I just know that whether I see it or not, I can just feel this family, behind me. Right. But certainly beyond that, life goes on. I'm still a mom. I didn't stop. I'm still a wife, a daughter, and a sister, and all of these things. But I have prioritized my health, and I've accepted and allowed that to be a priority, right? Yeah. And so oftentimes we get shuffled around. Oh, this comes first. This comes first. But if I need to take time to go do yoga or branch out and do acupuncture or do some research about a food, like that's just what happens now. And so making that space to still be all the things to all the people, but no matter what, I come first, and I'm unapologetic about it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that all of us, there have been so many articles, especially for women, and this isn't specific to women, but there are a lot of articles right now that women are taking the brunt of quarantine, and you're working and your kids are maybe remote schooling or they're not remote schooling. And there's a lot of anxiety around that. And women are taking the brunt of that. And I'm on different mom groups and I'm seeing that and hearing that and feeling like, I just wish that everyone was in a relationship where they could say, I need some me time right now. I'm walking away. I need I need to take a bath, or I need to go for a hike, or I need to do yoga, so that we felt, and men too, like if that's the situation you're in, then you need to ask for that help, and you need to allow yourself that help.
It's so true. And I mean, anyone that spent any time with me knows how important mindset is. And this is where I get really excited, because it's not just about healing from cancer. This is for everyone. We're all in a unique situation, right? All of us. And so the value of being able to get mental clarity or just rest the mind. I think sometimes, and I've been saying this a lot lately, that, you know, people throw around these like kitschy things like, oh, meditate, meditate. And that can be overwhelming. As simple as it sounds, I think it's been a bit overcomplicated. Right. Meditating is just quieting the mind. And so I was giving a friend the other day some examples of how to do that. I said, it doesn't necessarily need to be disappearing for an hour of your time. Just closing your eyes right before you go to bed, saying one thing that you're grateful for, that changes your whole, chemistry. Yeah. If you're feeling tense and you need to step away, right? Yeah. There's opportunity in the shower. Close your eyes. Like, there's just so many things that are really simple and that can help break up that what seems like monotony, or I can't get out of this COVID bubble, or oh my gosh, right, work is overwhelming. But if people actually took the time for just a few minutes a day, it can change a lot for the better.
Well, and for me, I'm a horrible meditator. Like if someone said, go sit in a corner for an hour and be with your thoughts. Yeah, no. Yeah. But I use something called Headspace because it's guided and he's talking the whole time. And I do it for 7 minutes. I'm not doing it for an hour at a time, but he'll say, and if your mind has wandered, bring it back in. And every single time my mind has wandered,
come back.
But at least I bring it back in. And anyone who has seen me speak at any of the women's events, I also talk a lot about the Panda Planner. So I'll show you a blank page. It's, what are you grateful for? What are you excited about? And I'll find, it's like 6 months worth of pages. I don't do it every day. But if I go back and look, the days when I do it, it's because I'm stressed. It's because I can't focus. It's because something is pulling me in a negative way. And just you have to find what works for you, obviously.
You do.
You are helping. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we try to do this even with our kids, to say, okay, sometimes you just call an audible on something that you're thankful for, right? So, like, let's go around the dinner table today. It just like changes the discussion. Or I'll pick up some of her crayons and just start doodling. And she's like, Mommy, what are you doing over there? I'm like, oh, nothing. Just because the use of like color and creativity, like all those things can be
right,
quieting the mind without having to like lay still.
Right.
For a time, right?
For those of us who can't stop moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have, this path has brought you to something that you're incredibly passionate about, which is helping people figure this out. So tell us about LuvYourLifeNaturally.com. And that's love with an LUV.
You got it. For a reason, because I feel like it ties to, of course, my lung health, but also this whole idea of like bringing mind, body, and soul together. And really my journey did start twofold. I went down a mindset path and really dug into how much the body chases the mind and how much our thoughts control, our body and our health. And then subsequently went down the food as medicine, nutrition path, and started finding all these like cool facts and fun tips and what I call health hacks. Because I realized that I was learning a lot. I almost see myself as this researcher, that I've had the time to pick up all the books. I've had the time to dig in and aggregate and find where the overlap is, to go, wow, like all these people are saying the same thing. They're onto something. And then how do I share that beyond my husband, who was getting the brunt of it? I'm like, did you know this? Did you know that? He's like, oh my goodness. I said, all right, I think maybe there will be some fun value in sharing. So therein birthed the website. I do use a lot of what I call health hacks, whether they're pantry swaps or quick tips. Did you know kind of facts around food primarily, but also some mindset tricks and tips, and then how to bring it all together with recipes. I do sprinkle in a little bit of inspiration, because I've always been someone that gravitated to quotes, and I realize why. They are the showstopper. Like, you read them, right? It's like
Right.
seeing a picture in your Facebook feed. Like, you'll pause for it, but your mind is picking up those words, whether
Right.
consciously or subconsciously. So I try to make sure that there's a lot of just inspirational quotes in there. I find myself too, like, I'll publish and say, I needed to hear this today. Did anyone else? And I'll get a sea of texts and comments from people.
That's something that it takes nothing, right? To read it or to share it. It's what's on your mind and in your head. And that's what's sort of drawing people to you as well.
Yeah, and I find the more that I share, the more feedback that I get, and it's really invaluable to me, because it's like I've put on my marketing hat and I know the whole a way to go to market, and so, but I've never done it for myself, right? Or in the spirit of helping others. It was mainly always to help an organization. So it's been fun and enjoyable for me. But I'll be honest, like, if I can just help educate one person one day, I win. And I just get so much value out of that, because if one more person knows the why behind why they should eat an apple, I win. I win.
Yes.
Or if they're coming my way, I mean, people do come my way to say, hey, I'm having this challenge or this thing I can't get past. Can you help me? It's just a fun way to dive in, and we both kind of learn something together.
Well, and I think it really helps people put in perspective. There's a woman named Ash Beckham who talked about there is no harder, there's just hard. So like, hard for me is different than hard for you or hard for anyone else. And I think by sharing your story, you're really helping people put in perspective. If you can have a positive outlook and want to bring this positivity to other people, then those of us who are challenged with quarantine, or, I can hear right now my 2.5-year-old screaming downstairs, and I'm going, do I mute? Do I not mute? Can they hear it? My headphones in. That's not hard for me anymore. Like, I think you're really helping people put in perspective, and you're so incredibly positive about it. So thank you so much for that and for sharing. Tell us a little bit more about what's the journey look for you. What are you doing with LuvYourLifeNaturally.com now?
So before I answer that, I want to touch on what you just said, because it is important for me to see people to see that being positive is contagious. And it is, honestly. Like, you surround yourself with people who make you feel good, right? Fundamentally. But I have my days too. And I've been getting better at expressing those, because I'm not a robot either.
Right.
And it's a vulnerable spot for me to be. But as much as I'm genuinely my authentic self, I feel like it would be remiss to not expose the days where I cry a lot, and like, to tell people it's okay. Like, I've actually had that one-on-one with people where I say, it's okay to cry now, and they'll just let loose. Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to have the really good days, and then those days where you just don't know anymore what is going on. So I just wanted to make sure I said that, because I do largely live myself with sunshine and rainbows. It's very fun. It's a fun way to be, and I wasn't always this way, but I do have my moments too. So
and that is important. I think we don't want to bottle it up, because we feel like, I launched a company in February. We went into quarantine in March. I had the death of a very close family member due to COVID in May. And my birthday was the first week of June, and my friends wanted to celebrate and, do some sort of social distance something. And I said, you know what, guys, I'm taking a bye year. Like, I need to be miserable, and I need you to listen to me. And it almost feels like you rebound faster when you name it, acknowledge it, and deal with it.
Absolutely. And like, kudos to you too for raising your hand to say what you want. A lot of people don't know what to say to someone when they're going through any hard time.
Right.
And I always tell people, don't underestimate the value of just your words and letting someone know that you care, but like, mean it, really mean it. You say it, and listen to what they say back, and give that person permission to cry. And And so kudos to you for just telling people what you want. I've gotten better at it too, because I realize that people are like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say or do. So I just sort of open up that conversation. And if you ask me, how are you doing? I'll say what I'm feeling.
Right.
Because I've learned not to mask it, because it's not speaking my truth. And I just wish we all could learn to, speak unapologetically and to really embrace what you receive back, because we do need to share more than we bottle up as a society. But especially now going through COVID, to go, hey, I need a friend right now. I just need a friend.
Right. Right.
But to go back to
Absolutely.
the question about where Love Your Life Naturally is going, it's unfolding. And I know right now that I love researching and sharing what I'm learning. I experiment behind the scenes, which has been so fun. Like, I'll try a new recipe or I'll try a new food and it's a real miss. I'm like, okay, well, we know that now. Bringing my child into the fold. My daughter loves to try new things with me, and really just helping to find my sweet spot. Right now, it's these quick tips. I realize people are on the go and juggling differently in the COVID. So how do I just get to the point and get them to absorb what they need and to know that I'm always here? So, I do get very excited to help other people on a one-on-one basis. But in the meantime, if I just, like I said, if I could just help one person learn one new thing, spread a little positivity, then that's a win for me.
So if you wanted to share a nugget with our audience that maybe people don't realize that you would be sharing with somebody you work with through Love Your Life Naturally, give us your favorite tip that people probably don't know.
Okay. I love this because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed by all the things. I mean, there's a lot of people saying a lot of stuff about what to eat and immunity and gut biome and all these things are throwing around. And I always tell everyone, just pick one thing. Living life should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be restrictive. You should feel more like you're opening up opportunity to explore than restricting, especially when it comes to food. So I encourage you to try something new, pick one thing, have fun, and explore with it. It's really not that hard if you think about it. We're a fast-paced society and we want to get to the finish line as quick as possible. And the one thing that I've learned is there's a pace that you may not always control. You have to go with the flow. So pick one thing that's fun to get you to that finish line.
Absolutely. I love that. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to talk channel, or they want to talk Love Your Life Naturally, or they just want to tell you how awesome you are?
Well, yeah, that would be wonderful too. But the website's the best way to get in touch with me. And that's LuvYourLifeNaturally.com. And then I also have a Facebook page as well. I'm very active on there. So there's always an opportunity to message or just stay in the loop with information I publish regularly. So it's a great way to keep in touch as well.
That is awesome. Jill, thank you so much for joining. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been great having a slightly different conversation than we normally have in the channel. But I think if one thing has come out of the year 2020, there are so many things that have happened. It's that we're being more authentic, we're being more honest, we're asking for help, and we're here to help other people. So Jill, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.